Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Readem. My name is Emily, and today I am about to find, hopefully, my first 5-star book of 2024. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here to join me. I'm making my comeback to YouTube, and this time I will be staying. I graduated college. Isn't that exciting? I'll be working part-time in the publishing industry, so I'll have lots of time to also commit to YouTube and writing, which is the goal. Anyway, you don't care about that. What I'm here to do today is tell you guys why I need a 5-star book. Right now, I'm literally out of breath because I'm so stressed about this. I started this year pretty strong. I read 3 books already, and it's only January 18th. However, all 3 of them were 3 stars, which is just, we can't be having that as the beginning omen of my year. First book I read was Last Call, The Local by Sarah Grenda Ruiz. I've loved her other romance book, Luck and Last Resorts. I gave that one 5 stars last year, or 2 years ago? 2 years ago. But then this year I read her new one, Last Call, The Local, which I was interested in because it had OCD representation from the male lead, which was very appealing to me. And that part of it I did appreciate. However, the book itself was a 3 stars. Is that really fair? Because like me and romance, do we get along well? Usually no, but I loved her other one, so I had hope in this one. This one was just too sappy. It was too real. Where the other one was funny, this one was like very genuine, and I was just kind of like, we don't need that right now. So anyway, I gave it 3 stars. I think it is good and has a lot to say, but did not gel with me. Then I read this short story collection, Out There by Kate Vogt. This one I actually gave it 3.5, but that still for me counts as a 3 star. I liked a lot of these stories, and I really loved the writing style of all of the stories, and I would totally read more from this author, but most of the execution wasn't my favorite, so most of the stories were like 2-3 star range. A few were 4, 4.5, and 5. My absolute favorite was Heart Seeks Brain. That one, like, spoke to my soul, love that, would eat up more of that. But the rest of them, the execution just didn't do it for me, even though the writing was stellar, and I would be interested in watching the TV adaptation of the titular story from this collection, so I'll keep my eyes out for that. And last but not least, I just finished reading Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, which has been on my TBR for years. I have the special Owlcrate edition, but again, unfortunately for me, I gave it 3 stars. I was persuaded to pick this up right now because I just visited some friends at UNC, which is where this takes place, and it was so fun to imagine all the like fantasy things happening at the setting where I had just been, and it's like, it's very detailed. It mentions very specific places that I had just been to, so that was cool. And it had lots of like North Carolina references in general, like food wise and place wise, and like whatever. That was fun. I loved the like multi-generational women stuff going on here. I like the historical elements. I loved the rootcraft stuff, if you've read, you know what I'm talking about, but I didn't care about the Arthur main plot stuff, which is really unfortunate, and I couldn't really connect to most of the characters. I loved the main character, but besides that, wasn't feeling it. 3 stars. Why fantasy for me? It's not that surprising that this was a 3, but I wish it was higher. All that being said, I thought to myself, I need a 5 star, and I need it now. I need it now. How am I gonna get that? I need to pick like the safest book possible. And I was pondering in my brain. I want it to be easy to read. I want it to be probably from an author I've read from before. If I'm hoping that it'll be a 5 star, I feel like it's more trustworthy if I've read for them and loved them before. And naturally that would bring me in like the horror weird realm, like kind of a bunny type thing. But I think that could be a risk because sometimes they're a bit slow. Even if they end up being good, I don't know if I need something quick. I need something quick because I have lots of other books I need to get to. And I thought in my brain, like, what is fast-paced that I would probably love? And if it's not gonna be a 5, like at least make the entertainment a 5, that kind of thing. And I thought about, well, what genre usually does that for me? Sci-fi. Sci-fi does that for me. And if you look at my little sci-fi corner over here, you can see lots of sci-fi books. And Andy Weir is my favorite. He's my favorite. Project Hail Mary, my favorite sci-fi book of all time. However, I've read the 2 Andy Weir books that I'm interested in, so I can't read an Andy. Then I thought to myself, who is like Andy Weir? Who writes funny sci-fi with really interesting, mind-bending concepts that I've read from before and loved and will definitely read the entire book in like 1 or 2 sittings? Blake Crouch. Blake Crouch is my man. Upgrade, Baroque Me. Upgrade was so good. I told my friend to read this copy of it like immediately after I read it, and she also like had her mind blown. This was insanely good. And this is like one of his newer ones that definitely is not like the one that everyone hails as the best, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. I'm still waiting for someone to create this into a movie because it would just be like perfection. Like, oh my god, it's so good, it's making me want to reread the whole thing. This one's about like DNA, genetic mutation stuff. Just like the plot twists are so good. The action is actually like maybe the best action I've read in any book ever. There's like a scene with bees. If you read it, you know. That was insane. That was insane, and I love it. I love this book. So I thought, what better option is there than to read Dark Matter by Blake Crouch? This is the one that everyone heralds as his best. This is like the classic. This is the bread and butter, and I think that like it could be mine too. I have really high hopes for this. So in today's vlog, I will be reading this book, and I will be really hoping really hoping that it's 5 or at least a 4.5. Please, please, Craig Crouch, don't do me wrong. I have faith in him. I have faith in him. I love this kind of sci-fi. I think that he could do it. That being said, other things you can expect in this vlog are a library book sale that I'm going to today that I probably shouldn't go to because I don't need to buy more books because I'm actually getting rid of like hundreds of books. If you just look to the right of me right now, oh, you can't see that. You can't see that at all. But like that is half of the books I'm getting rid of. It's okay. It's all okay. I just need to get rid of them. I need to get rid of them. I officially have gotten my TBR that I own to be less than the number of books I've read that I own. 44% of the books I own, I haven't read. But that means that 56% I have read. So let's think about that. Anyway, I think we get a lot of reading done today because our power just went out, which you might be confused about, like, why are the lights on? We have a generator. But there was a snowstorm and our power just went out. So I think that's an excuse for me to read a lot, even though my power is technically still on because we have a generator. I think it's a sign. I think it's a sign that we can pretend it's like a snow day in high school. And I'm gonna read an entire book because that's what I used to always do. Okay, wish me luck. See you soon after I haul everything from the library book sale. Hello everyone, I'm back with a very exciting update. Actually, multiple updates. One is that I made it to chapter 4 in Dark Matter and I am obsessed. I'm already obsessed. I cannot stop reading and I just like took a little peek at what's to come in chapter 4 before I had to leave for the library book sale, and what I saw is about to change everything and it's only chapter 4. I'm obsessed, and I'll give a little bit of like a synopsis of like what's happening so far soon, but first I need to show you my bounty. So, in case you guys don't know what a library book sale is, basically in your local town library system, this probably happens at least once a year, and you might also have access to multiple libraries, but libraries near me usually like once to twice a year do a book sale where they sell a bunch of used books for $2 or less for every single book. So today I bought 9 books for $8, which I feel like is quite a steal. And in the past I've gone like way more crazy. This time I controlled myself a little bit, but I'm still quite happy with what I got. So the first thing that I got is the first 4 books in the Series of Unfortunate Events series. I've been just collecting these because this is one of my favorite series of all time. I've already read these in my childhood and I'm slowly working my way through the later novels, which I never read in my childhood. And I own all of them now except for 7 and 8. They had 7 at the sale, but it was like really in gross condition. It was like an old library copy, so I didn't want to buy it. But these ones are pretty pristine. Yes, I'm matching hardcovers with paperbacks, but we're just gonna have to live with that because these were too good to pass up, and I think in total it probably cost like $2. Next up, I have The Tender Bar, which is a memoir by J.R. Moehringer. Don't know how to say that. Hopefully I'll learn eventually. This was a movie recently, actually, I think with Ben Affleck, and my parents liked it, and my dad has read this book and liked it. I think we actually might own it in my house, which I kind of forgot about, but at least I have my own copy, and this was pristine. Also, it was $1, so like no one is gonna be upset about that. And one of my friends really likes this memoir, and I trust her memoir recommendations, so hopefully I'll get to this one. Speaking of memoirs, we have Educated by Tara Westover, and this one I know my dad definitely also has and has read, but I really want my own copy of this. Also, again, it was $2 for a hardcover, and this one's in good condition as well. Someone I know recently just posted on their story having finished this and was like sobbing, and everyone I know also really loves this. And I've read The Glass Castle, which a lot of people compare to this memoir, and my other friend who loves memoirs also loves this memoir, so like I need to get to this. Like, I can't say memoir girly if I haven't read this one. So I have to get to that. Okay, I'm saving my favorite find for last because I'm very excited about it. But next up, we have The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. This is a book that one of my friends recommended to me a long time ago and has continued to say that she really remembers and loves. I have no idea what it's about. I guess it's about war? I don't know. I don't need to know. I just trust her. I have a few book series on the mind that might involve friend recommendations. Just saying. So this book might make its way into one of those. Okay, and I was also really excited to see this one in really good condition, and that is Salt to the Sea by Rita Sepetys. This is probably the most famous young adult historical fiction book in like recent history, like not like Book Thief and like whatever, all those ones, but like within the past like 2010s kind of era. This one is really up there, but this author like in general, and I never read this one. I know it has to do with World War II, but not about Germany. It's like some sort of event that has to do with boats that's like very under talked about a different country. I don't know. I don't like to know too much before going into books, but I have Between Shades of Grey also by this author, and these two are like the ones I want to start with her, and then I want to see if I love them a lot, if I want to continue to read more of her work. And in general, like I've been leaning away from YA books, but historical YA I will never lean away from. I love historical fiction YA. I just think that the like innocence of the teen characters just does something that like adult historical fiction can't do. And last but most certainly not least, I was ecstatic to see this on the shelves because every time I go to a bookstore for the past like few weeks or even months, I've looked for this specific book and I've almost bought it several times. Like during Black Friday I almost bought it, but then it wasn't a hardcover. Same thing with like the end of year Barnes & Noble sale. And then I looked for it when I was on a trip recently and they didn't have it, and I kept almost buying it everywhere. But I'm glad I didn't, because then I got it for $1. And this is one of my most like anticipated books as of right now. Like I just feel like I'm gonna love this, and it's The Dinner by Herman Koch. I don't know how to say his name. I know this is translated, and it's just like about this dinner in Amsterdam where the whole book is just them at a dinner talking, but it's like really uncomfortable from what I understand. And one of my favorite booktubers, Books and Lala, gave this a very high rating. I think she gave it 5 stars. I can't really remember, but I think I just remember her liking it and saying it was like really weird and plotless, and like if she liked it and it's weird and plotless, like I will like it for being weird and plotless. And also the blurb on the front says chilling, nasty, smart, shocking, and unputdownable. And it's Gillian Flynn, who, if there's anyone I trust, it's also Gillian Flynn. So I really want to get to this, and I think there's a movie of it. I don't know if that's well received, but I'd be interested in comparing the two, whether it is or isn't. So that was my little haul. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I very much enjoyed, and I'm excited to get to these books, especially The Dinner. Like I really want to read this soon. But I have business to attend to, which is telling you about Dark Matter. I did not know anything going into this. I just knew it was a Blake Crouch book. I knew it was sci-fi. That's all I knew. And what I've discovered in the first 3 chapters is the first chapter is just about a man who's living a good life. He's just talking about the fact how he didn't know that he was about to lose this normal life, because after he has to just like go out to do a little errand from his family's family night, he gets kidnapped by someone in a geisha mask and is brought to like this warehouse, is told to strip naked, and is injected with like all these drugs. And then he wakes up in like a science lab. They're like, "You're back. Oh my god, we've been waiting for you. This, like, Jason, you're such a famous scientist. Like, I'm so excited that you're back. This is amazing. You have to tell us everything, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "They've got the wrong man. I am not this man. I am a random undergrad physics teacher. They think I'm the wrong person." So he like escapes the lab and is like running, and he like goes to a hospital, yada yada yada, and that's that. Then I got to chapter 4, and I'm about to start chapter 4. I'm not actually gonna say what the next part of the concept is gonna be, but I skimmed a little bit at the beginning of chapter 4, and let me just tell you, I'm excited. Things are about to flip on their heads a little bit, and I can't wait. I don't know what's real, I don't know what's fake, I don't know what's happening, but I'm obsessed and I need to read more. Update you guys soon. Alright, welcome back. Big news. I finished Dark Matter. Underwhelming news? I gave it 4 stars. I didn't give it 5 stars. I think that Upgrade was better to me. I think that this had the sci-fi that I was looking for, and this, for all of Act 2, had the sci-fi I was looking for. A little bit of Act 3 had the sci-fi I was looking for, but a lot of it was kind of like emotional clarity stuff, which I understand is the point of the novel. I understand why that's appealing to people who don't read as much sci-fi, or were like looking for a thriller and less sci-fi. I get it, but I just wish we got to play with the sci-fi a bit more. In this book, we are kind of dealing with superposition, Schrodinger's cat kind of thing in the multiverse, and I have to commend Blake Crouch for doing the multiverse before the multiverse was cool, because this book was from 2016, I believe, and I feel like the whole multiverse like super trend started with like Marvel, Everything Everywhere, those movies, and obviously it has existed before, but I think like the super trend of that idea might have kind of blossomed in here. It also really reminded me of Severance, the TV show. There's a scene in this that is identical to one in Severance, so like this low-key could have been an inspiration for that. So even though I gave this 4 stars overall, I will say it was what I was looking for in terms of being like a 5-star entertainment experience, because I did read all of this in only like 3 sittings, I think, and that is what I was looking for mainly. I just needed something that like made me excited to read again after my 3-star little marathon that was happening. So even though this was a 4 stars overall, it was a super gripping read, and I truly believe that Blake Crouch writes my favorite and best action scenes out of any author I've read. Like, his action is just so vivid and so gripping, so clever and creative, and I just need these to become movies. I think this was like supposed to be a movie. I don't think it ever became one. And I know his Wayward Pines series that he wrote before these books is a TV show. I don't know how much action those involve, but I do really want to read those, and I do also want to watch the TV show. I also need to read, out of this little trifecta of like these ones, I need to read Recursion, which I know is going to be like similar to these as well, but that's kind of exactly the entire point. Okay, so I do want to go into like a little bit of spoiler territory, so don't watch this part if you haven't read this book and you have interest in reading it. If you don't care, watch it at your own discretion, but I just really want to discuss the sci-fi elements I loved and why I wish it went a little deeper. I'll put something on the screen so you know when I'm talking about spoilers. I'll put it right here. I wanted this book to be this book, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, or The Martian by Andy Weir, or Upgrade by Blake Crouch. I just want the sci-fi concept to be delved into, and it slightly was. It was delved into in very specific chapters, but it wasn't like carried through the entire book. So in this book, our sci-fi concept is about the multiverse. It involves putting a human being into a quantum state of superposition. Sorry if I'm saying this wrong. And the way that he did that, very interesting, is that he created a box to create like the Schrodinger's cat situation. But because the Schrodinger's cat situation relies on observation, being observed, kind of like the wave particle observation effect thing too, he realized that in order to have a human be put into a superposition, they need to somehow inhibit their own observation of themselves. So he partnered with someone in the past to create this drug that would inhibit those parts of the brain that observe reality. So if you take that drug and you're in the box that can put you into a superposition, you aren't observing yourself anymore, so you can become Schrodinger's cat, essentially. And it becomes this like infinite corridor that you can walk through. And then it was also really interesting to find out that in order to go to different realities, you are kind of manifesting them by whatever your state is, whatever you like truly deeply desire, whatever you're feeling will be what's on the other side, kind of like what multiverse you step into, which is also a cool thing to discover. Love that. I love the ticking time of the ampules. I feel like that's really reminiscent of Andy Weir's work, where he always has some sort of like limited number of potatoes in The Martian, or limited number of, I don't remember in this one, but there's definitely that example in this one. Any sort of like survival situation. That was definitely happening here. Those were my favorite parts. I also absolutely loved in Act 3 when you find out that there are multiple Jasons back in the original from our perspective universe. This is something where I think this book really shined, because I've never seen the multiverse done in this way, where it was thought of with this much care and this much like paradox, where he gets to the OG universe and there are multiple Jasons, because the multiverse doesn't just stop. It doesn't only fracture at the one moment that the story begins. It fractures at every single choice you make. So even when Jason gets back to this place, all these other Jasons are also going to get there, but with different paths from the moment that he stepped into the box. Because he stepped into the box, did one thing. Another Jason stepped in the box and did another thing. So like the multiverse is always continuing. And I've never seen something like that happen in a multiverse thing. I feel like they always just assume the multiverse only split at the one point in the story when they want it to split, instead of every single time, even after the catalyst time. Which was like, that blew my mind. At first I was really confused what was happening, but then like it just clicked and it made so much sense and it was great. But then the first like beginning of the book and then the ending of the book is just kind of like, I love my wife, which like we support. We love that you love your wife, but like I was there for the sci-fi concepts. I was there for the mind-blowing multiverse stuff. I was not really there for like, I need my wife. And I do love in sci-fi when there's like a human edge. I love when it's optimistic, and I appreciate, you know, when the humanity shines through. When like, it's like in this book, it's about found family. It's about connection, even if it's not with humans necessarily. But this one, it has that, and I'm glad it has that. But like, did we need so much? I don't know if we needed so much. Like, I get the beginning part, because it did matter for you to like be on this Jason's side. But did we need that much? Like, I don't know. I just thought it was a lot. Maybe I'm just cold-hearted. Those are my thoughts on the sci-fi stuff. So this means that I have read 4 books this year and still given out 0 to 5 stars. Is that expected? Probably, like statistics wise, but I always start out the year with a banger, at least I try to, and we just haven't gotten there yet. And the thing is, I already know what I'm reading next, which will be exciting for you guys, but I'm not sure we'll end in a 5-star, because what I'm going to be doing for my next vlog, which should be coming out hopefully within like 2 weeks, maybe, after this, is rereading Ninth House and reading Hellbent. And I've already read Ninth House, and I gave it 4 stars back then. Could this be bumped up to a 5? Maybe. Who knows? Do I really think it will be? No, but maybe I should go in with better expectations, or maybe I should go in with lower expectations. And then I'll be surprised. Who knows? I'm excited to get to this. I'm a little bit nervous because I remember thinking it was slow the first time I read it. I did love it overall. I thought it was very solid, and by the end was definitely more gripped, but I just remember the beginning being a lot, so I'm a little intimidated. I also just read Legendborn, which is YA, so it's different, but it was like a fantasy set at a college. This is a fantasy set at a college, although this one has like a bit of a murder mystery element. This one has darker themes and whatever, but it's like, it's secret societies at college. How different are we gonna get? Like, ugh. That's why I wanted to read something in between, which is why I read Dark Matter, which was a good palate cleanser, but like, I'm a little nervous for this. And I'm also nervous because there is no Kindle version I have access to or audiobook, which usually just, it really speeds along the process when I have all the different mediums at the same time, which might sound counterintuitive, but it really helps me. But we're gonna read this one, we're gonna read this exact copy again, and hopefully it's good. But while that probably will end up being a 4-star again, just in terms of probability, Hellbent I do think could be a recipe for a 5-star success. Who knows? Who knows? Will I be burnt out after reading that? Because I'm not really one who binges series, but in this case, it just has to be done. But this could be 5 stars. I've heard people like love this. Even people who were also a little bit less passionate about Ninth House. I feel like everyone's been loving this. Also, there's a bunny on the cover. And if we know anything about bunnies on covers, we know that it leads to good things. That's Books and Law's rule, and I'm gonna just pretend it applies to me too. I'm also just obsessed with this cover. It's so gross. I love it. So could this be the first 5-star of the year? Who knows? Or we could be really surprised and have this be bumped up. Who knows? Who knows with me? All that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm really a little bit disappointed that this wasn't quite a 5-star, but at least it was like a 5-star entertainment experience. So at least we have that. Thank you again for watching. Please consider liking and commenting for engagement and subscribing if you want to. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!